Hey there, Twisters, and welcome back to my 2021 Stanley Cup Playoffs preview videos. So today we're going to be previewing the matchup between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. So here's how I'm going to do that. We'll look a little bit at the season series between these two teams, their overall records, some key team statistics. I'll talk to you about 5 things to look for in this series, and then I'll make my prediction. And I want to know your prediction for this series down in the comments below. I do encourage you to disagree with me. Just I ask you do so respectfully. We'll have a lot of fun banter down there, absolutely. So prepare to be dazzled, hit like, subscribe, the notifications bell, join the Twist Brigade for the playoffs and beyond. Let's jump into this, ladies and gentlemen. So for the season series, the Wild won 5 of these 8 matchups. They were 5-1-2 against Vegas, and the scoring, though, was even. It was 24-24. Vegas technically was 3-4-1 against Minnesota. On the season, the Knights finished with a record of 40-14-2. That was tied for the first best win percentage in the NHL along with Colorado, but Colorado won the President's Trophy. 7-3-0 was Vegas's record in their last 10 games. They were a very impressive 21-5-2 at T-Mobile Arena, but on the road they were great as well at 19-9-0. Minnesota 35-16-5, which was tied for the 8th best point percentage in the NHL. 5-3-2 in their last 10 games, so okay. 21-5-2 at the XL Center, which same record as Vegas at home. 14-11-3 on the road, so meh. Team statistics. So goals for Vegas, 3rd in the NHL at 3.39 per game, and Minnesota 8th at 3.21. Good improvement as to where they were the past couple of seasons. Goals against, Vegas won the Jennings Trophy, so 3rd in goals for and 1st in goals against at 2.18. Minnesota, middle of the pack, 2.84. That was 16th. Power play, not particularly good for either club. 17.8% for Vegas, that was 22nd, and 17.6% for Minnesota, tied for 23rd. I also like to couple this with penalties drawn because more penalties drawn give you more chances on the power play. So Vegas 9th in the NHL at 3.60, Minnesota just above them, 3.65, that was 7th. And then on the other side of the coin, we look at penalty kill. Vegas tops in the league for goals against and penalty kill, 86.8%. That is lights out. And Minnesota, 80.8%. That was tied for 11th. And then penalties committed, Vegas fairly disciplined, 7 minutes and 17 seconds on average. That was tied for 10th fewest. Minnesota, 8 minutes and 53 seconds. So that's a minute and a half more. That was 20th. And then I look at shot disparity. So I take your shots for, I subtract your shots against to see if you have a net positive or a net negative. Vegas, one of the best results in the NHL, a plus 5.5, so they average 5.5 shots per game more than they surrender. Minnesota going in the opposite direction, minus 2.1. So a shot disparity between these two teams of 7.6 per game in Vegas's favor. That's pretty substantial. And then faceoffs, Vegas has the advantage here as well. 49.5%, that was 20th in the NHL, but Minnesota was 28th at just 46.5%. So now let's look at 5 things to watch for. And I do want to preface this with Max Pacioretty and Alec Martinez. They are game time decisions for game 1. In the most recent game, I believe for Vegas, Thomas Nosek actually skated in the top line, although it's possible that maybe Alex Tuch could be brought into the top 6 as well. That happens from time to time. And Nick Holden would probably take Martinez's spot as the 6th defenseman. So reason or storyline number 1 here, Vegas could dominate puck possession and opportunities. I already mentioned before that they were 8 spots better than Minnesota when it came to faceoffs, and there was a 7.6 shot disparity in Vegas's favor if you take a look at the team stats for these two clubs. And of course, a 3% difference in faceoffs right there. Now, I think one thing that's somewhat related to this was that for Vegas to really take that next level, I thought that there were 2 things that they had to kind of solve. At the beginning of this season, I was thinking that Cody Glass was going to be their second line center, and that didn't really turn out to be the case. Actually, Chandler Stevenson was the one who filled in there and was a great compliment to Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty. So Stevenson, 51 games played, 14 goals, 21 assists for 35 points and a plus 22 rating. And then Alex Tuch, He was my other sort of critical factor for success for Vegas to, be at the top of the division and the top of the league. He certainly delivered. He was healthy. He was scoring consistently. 55 games played, 18 goals, 16 assists for 34 points and a plus 16 rating. So those guys are more kind of like secondary scorers versus guys like Stone out there and even Marchessault and Pacioretty, of course, as well. But these guys definitely answered the call and elevated their game. And that's one reason why Vegas is just a hard team to take the puck away from. And they're such a good team when it comes to cycling the puck and getting in on the forecheck as well. So that was number one. Storyline number two. When will the Minnesota Wild go to Kaapo Kähkönen? So I was looking at Cam Talbot against Vegas this year. Yeah, he won 3 games. He was 3-1-2 on the series. But he had an .898 save and a 3.26 goals against. I know it's Vegas, but still, those numbers are not glamorous whatsoever. Whereas Kaapo Kähkönen was a 1.51 goals against, a 943 save, and 1 shutout in a small sample size, 2 games against Vegas. However, with Kähkönen, his last 8 games weren't that good. 36 goals against, 858 save. So I kind of brought him up because Cam Talbot can occasionally get some flack from fans out there. But the thing is, there are a couple of good trending factors, I think, for Cam Talbot. So Vegas is tops in the league in 5-on-5 offense. So not the greatest at the power play, but 5-on-5, they are number 1. But Cam Talbot's save this year, 5-on-5, was .916, very respectable. And for his career, his even strength save is .922. I also look at his playoffs last year. He actually played really well. And a few years ago in 2017, it was good there too. Storyline number 3 is kind of an intriguing matchup, if you will. Who scores the first goal? Watch these two teams in the first period. They were both magnificent. So Vegas tied for 4th in first period goals with 57. And they were tied for 2nd with only 34 goals against in that period. So they were a plus 23. Minnesota, 2nd in the league in first period goals with 60, and they were 6th with just 40 goals surrendered, so a plus 20. Both great first period teams. Now, with that in mind, Vegas, best win percentage in the NHL when they score first. To sort of counterbalance that, Minnesota has the 7th best winning percentage when they trail first. Minnesota also has the 7th best win percentage when they score first. They are 23-5-2. Vegas, to give you a sense, is 31-3-2. But Vegas is actually 9th in the NHL in winning percentage when they trail first. So I think these first periods are going to be awesome. And just in general with the series, I think that there are going to be moments where you have a goal and then just before you can blink, the other team is going to be able to counter that. I think that this series will be one of the more intriguing ones in this first round, one of the most exciting to watch, if not the most exciting. Maybe the battle for Florida would be the top pick for me. But I think that this is going to be kind of back and forth, especially in the first period and with the style, the tempo that these teams can play at from time to time. Storyline number 4. If there is one player who can make the biggest difference for the Minnesota Wild that we aren't talking about, it's Joel Erikssonek. I got to watch him a handful of times play against my Sharks and otherwise. He had himself a great season, and he's really turned it around the past couple of years. And as intriguing as that top line is with Kaprizov and Zuccarello, you can't discredit Minnesota's depth overall, and that second line is really glued together with Erikssonek this season versus Vegas this season. Erikssonek, 4 goals, 2 assists, a +5 rating, and he averaged 18 minutes and 20 seconds on, I think, the second line. That was his most ice time against any opponent. His last 3 games, he didn't have any points, but Minnesota had kind of already been secured in that 3rd seed for the most part. But the previous 11 games, he had 6 goals and 4 assists for 10 points and a +8 rating. And when you combine his responsibility with the puck, doesn't give it away and forces some turnovers out there, and you couple that with his defensive zone efficiency, one of the best on the team, I think that this is the guy who you can put out there to shut down Mark Stone's line. I think that he is the best bet, and being responsible with the puck, it's going to be a little bit harder for someone like Stone to take it away from him. So watch out for the Wild's second line. And again, Erikssonek, I think, is going to do more damage than you might expect initially. And then storyline number 5, nighttime, right? So Vegas is going to have 50% of capacity at T-Mobile Arena, and obviously they have home ice. So there will be approximately 8,750 fans. And a couple other interesting things when it comes to the Golden Knights. First of all, Peter DeBoer. This is technically his first full season with the Golden Knights. In his first full season with both the New Jersey Devils in 2012 and the Sharks in 2016, his team went to the Stanley Cup Finals. The other thing that I want to bring up is that think about the last time Vegas had a home playoff game. They had their foot on the throat of the San Jose Sharks in that series with a 3-1 series lead, and they had run them out of the building in a couple consecutive games. In Game 6, they fired 59 shots on goal, and only one of them went by. The game was decided in double overtime on a shorthanded goal. A lot of those players in that Vegas core probably remember that game just as well as they do Game 7 in San Jose. That's something that could really, really awaken a sleeping giant, essentially. So I think that Vegas could theoretically come firing out of the cannon, score 4 goals in Game 1, win that, and then a closer game they could hold serve at home, get up 2-0 heading into Minnesota. I think that could happen. And getting into my prediction here, I think it's very possible that Vegas could decide this series in 5 games if you get the contributions that you're capable of getting from Alec Martinez, assuming he's healthy, and Alex Pietrangelo. If Pietrangelo looks like he did in the playoffs 2 years ago for the Blues, yeah, this series could be over in 5 games. However, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of factors. First of all, a lot of you know already, I'm a Sharks fan. Okay, so I have a clear bias here. 1. Number 2, in the 6 series that I've previewed already, the higher seeded team, I predicted that they would advance. 5 out of 6 teams, okay? So, I think you know where this is going. But I think that I have justified why Minnesota is at least going to make this one of the closer series out there. I think that matching Vegas, they have the personnel to do it. With guys like Erikssonek, with some of the beef they have on their lineup as well, like Jordan Greenway, or even Erikssonek himself throws a lot of hits, as does Marcus Foligno. So I think of players like that. I think of Cam Talbot. He has great even strength performance, and he has had a couple of good playoffs under his belt here too. And I think of it this way, man. Dean Evason, I think, is going away in a landslide. He's the coach of the year. Absolutely. DeBoer has done a great job. Mike Sullivan, Rod Brindamore, so on and so forth. But I think Dean Evason has gotten more out of this team than I think anybody could fathom this year. And coming in here as an underdog to a team like Vegas, who loves the spotlight and thrives in it in many, many ways, the Wild, I think, will take this series. And I think they win it on home ice in Game 6. And you know what, guys? I mentioned this in another preview video. I got one more series I need to preview, the Avalanche and the Blues. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I would not be surprised if the Wild and the Blues make it out of the first round. You heard it from me first. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you let me know your prediction, your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I welcome disagreements. Give me justifications for Vegas, for Minnesota. It's all good, baby. So hopefully I'll see you around for the rest of the playoffs. Of course, I got that Blues Avalanche preview video. Make sure that you stay in the loop. Hit the red subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, and give this a thumbs up. That helps other twisters like you discover this channel. I appreciate you tuning in, guys. You guys enjoy watching the playoffs here, and I'll catch you later. Ciao.